Well, hello, everybody. Me and my buddy Barney Fife there welcome you to Ken Knows Gambling. And today, what I'm going to try to do is make this the best, easiest on all of YouTube, the best and easiest way to explain the rules of Baccarat. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this will be upsetting to some, but Baccarat is a better game than craps. It's streaky. If you bet it right, you can be halfway consistent with it. I love Baccarat or Baccarat. All right, so I'm going to try to explain it because the rules of dealing can be screwy. However, let me say this. If you could figure out how to bet, player or banker, figure out how to get your chip out there, you could be blind. There's no decisions to make whatsoever. That dealer deals tens of thousands of hands, uh, in a week, probably thousands a day. They know what they're doing. You don't even have to know what I'm going to teach you. But way back in the day, I gave you the big three or big four, little three, but knowledge. I want you to know. I did catch a dealer one time screwing up in my whole life, but I want you to know how to do it. So if you were wanting to know the rules in a way that you can understand them, I'm hoping this is going to be it for you. I'm not putting charts up. To me, I've looked on the internet. Everybody has charts. And charts make it so confusing. You're trying to cross reference and up and down and play it just on that. So here's what I want you to do. Before I get over here to explain this, I want you to go ahead and take you a second. If you need to pause this, pause it. But I want you to get a pad and a pencil. And as I do this, I want you to write your own notes. You'll be able to follow your notes, how you write your lingo way better than anybody else's chart. Okay. So let's go ahead and get over here. Hopefully, this is actually the best, simplest way for you guys to understand that. So here we go. Boink. All right. First rule. This is a very simple game and it's closest to nine. That's it. Closest to nine. So whichever side gets closest to nine wins. And depending on what you bet on, player or banker, will depend on if you win any money. Now, I'm not showing my whole table here, but you'll have a banker, and down here is a player. You make a bet, then you're out. There's nothing you can do after that. It's just whatever happens, happens, and you'll win or you'll lose. But uh, everything is based on the closest to nine. But we have to figure out first thing is how to count these things. Okay. So if this was coming out of a shoe, the player gets the first one, the banker gets the next one, the player gets that, banker gets that. Two cards. Each person will get two cards. Okay. Now, here's how you count this stuff. Let's go ahead and flip these over. Let me go ahead and use this. Okay. Tens, 10 through king, face cards are zero. If you see a face card or a 10, okay, you might as well just think, turn it over. It doesn't mean anything. 10, jack, queen, king is zero. It's got a 0 point value. Okay, so in this case, in your brain, you just turn that over. There's the 9. If that would have been a 1, okay, flip that over, 0 value, you got a 1. Okay, 10 through king, 0 point value. Next thing you have to know There's another 9, just like it. Okay, so 5 plus 4 is 9. Perfect. Well, there's no such thing as teens in Baccarat, okay, like blackjack. So let's do this. What if you had a 9 and a 4? Well, what is that? 13 in blackjack. There is no such thing as teens. Kill the 10. If it's 13, it's 3. If it's 15, it's 5. If it's 19, it's 9. Okay? No tens. No teens. Okay? So if it gets over 9, and if you're used to counting it like blackjack, if it gets over 9, drop the 10. 11 would be 1, 12 would be 2, 15 would be 5. Okay? So get that. And that is how you count the spots. Okay? Hopefully you got that one. That's how we're going to start. Okay. Now then, what is a natural? A natural, on the very first 2 cards, this is just under natural, is an 8 or a 9. Okay? Remember, these are 0. Okay? In this case, in the first 2 cards, the player got a 9, banker got an 8. It's over. If anybody has an 8 or a 9 on the first 2 cards, nobody's drawn nothing. Nobody's drawing. The game is over, and then it goes right back to the closest to 9. If it was this way, the banker would win automatically. If it was this way, the player would win automatically. Closest to 9. But in the first 2 cards, an 8 or a 9, automatic win. All right. All right. Hopefully you're writing that. Now, let's revert to just player. Okay. Let's give the player 0. Remember, 0, 0. He's got 0 on those first 2 cards, right? And remember, the banker would have his 2 cards over here. 0, 0. He's going to draw. Now remember, in Baccarat, never any more than 3 cards. Never. It starts out with 2, and the player will either take a third or not take a third, depending on what he has. And the banker will take a third or not take a third based on some other rules that we're going to get into, but nobody ever gets any more than 3. Ever. Okay. So on a 0, 0 through 5. Now this is just a player. 0 through 5 on his first 2 cards, he will take a third card. Okay. 0 through 5, player will take a third card. And then whatever his third card is will depend on what this cat does over here. But right now we're talking about him. If he has 6 total without a 10 or that 10, I just showed you how to do that. 6 and up, he will not take a third card. 0 through 5, he will. If he gets a 6 or higher, he will not. Period. All right. Now comes the screwiness, because now we've got to get to banker. Let me get a sip of coffee here. So you know everything you need to on player side. Banker is the screwy one. Okay. Well, there's the 7, 8, 9. What would happen in this case? 9 natural, it's over. It doesn't matter what he would do because he can't. It's over. But let's go ahead let's go ahead and give him his 5. No, 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 no. Let me back up. Let's go over to the banker now. The banker will take a hit on a 0, 0 through 2. I don't care what he has. I don't care if he takes a third card. I don't care if he don't. The banker will take a hit on a 0 through 2. All right. So now that we've got that part done, get this one. What the banker does at this moment is always predicated on the third card of the player. It's not based on these totals. It's based on the third card. A lot of people get that wrong in Baccarat. Okay. What he does is based on this card, not necessarily these cards. Okay. So in this case, he had a 5. He has to hit. Well, he's got a 0, right? He still has a 5. Well, 0 over here for the banker through 2. He's going to take a hit no matter what happens over here. Doesn't matter. It's when he gets to a 3 is when poo-poo hits the fan. Okay? When he gets to 3. All right. This is where I want to try my best to make this halfway easy. All right. We'll just use this is a 0 through a 5. We'll use that on his first 2. Okay. We'll assume now the banker, though, has a 3. Okay. Now watch this. Banker has a 3, and the player must draw. He's got a 0 through a 5. All right. In this case, unless they call this the 38 special. This screws people up. Whatever that third card is, the banker will always hit unless this third card is an 8. Okay? Pause this for a second. They get their first 2 cards. He has a 5. He has to hit. We got that part. Now he gets an 8. But the banker has a 3. And I'm going to go to 4, 5, 6. We're going to just go up the chain. We already know he's going to hit on a 0 through 2. Okay. No matter what. But now he's got a 3. It's called the 38 special. He will now take a third card on any card except the 8. If that's what happens, then actually, remember, this is 0, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's a 3. That's going to end up being a tie because he can't hit because it's an 8. However, if it's anything else, when the banker has a 3 and the player has to draw anything, I don't care what that third card is, he's going to draw. He's going to draw. Banker's going to draw. Banker's going to draw. Banker's going to draw. Banker's going to draw. Doesn't matter. The only thing that will prevent him from taking his third card is an 8. They call that the 38 special. All right. Let's keep it with the same 5. But now let's give the banker a 4. Okay. He has to take a third card because it's 0 through 5. This card now is when he has a 4, he will hit if the third card is a 2 through 7. If this is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he has a 4, he will take a third card. Okay? If this is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the banker has a 4, the banker will take a third card. If this is a 0 or a 1, he won't. If it's a 8, 9, he won't. When the banker has a 4, 2 through 7 on the third card, not these two. All right. Now let's say he has to draw a third card, but the banker has a 5. Now he can only take a third card if the player's third card is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. If he has a 5, his third card is a 4, 5, 6, 7, then he will take a third card. If it's a 0, 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, he will not. Okay? I'll do this one more time here in just a second. Now, what if he has a 6 on his first two cards? And again, he has a 0 through a 5, and he has to draw a third card. Remember, almost everything the banker does is predicated on this card, not these two. That's the biggest screw up. All right, so now he has a 6, and he drew a third card. This third card now has to be a 6 or a 7 for him to take a card. Any other card, he stops. Okay? Any other card, he would stop. This now has to be a 6 or 7. Now, what if this is a 7? He will stop no matter what. No matter what, he will stop. Third card or not third card. It doesn't matter. He ain't taking any more. And then obviously an 8 or a 9 is a natural. So let me do that one more time. If the banker has a 3, if this third card is anything but an 8, he will draw a third card. Banker has a 3, third card, anything but an 8. An 8 he will not draw. If he has a 4, banker can only draw if this is a 2 through 7. Only. Anything else, he will not take a third card. If he has a 5, third card must now be a 4 through 7 for him to take a third card. Anything else, he will not. If this is a 6, if he has a 6, the third card now has to be a 6 or 7. That's it. Anything else, he cannot and will not take another draw. That, my friends, is Baccarat. That is the rules to Baccarat. Now, hopefully you wrote that down. That is the easiest explanation that I can freaking make. All right. So if you can picture what I've said, write your own notes, rewind this and just study it. Get you a deck of cards with your notes and just deal some and go over the rule. Here, if you guys ever watch me deal Baccarat, I'm always doing everything out loud. Number one, it's still to help teach you how to deal it. Every time I deal a hand, I go over the rules every time. When I want you to do the same thing. When you deal it out, go over the rules in your head. Have a piece of paper there with the notes that you just wrote and then deal it out, but go over verbally out loud. It'll help you. I promise you. Plus, you writing your own notes on what I've just said will help you. You can remember things so much better if you write them down. If you need to remember anything, you need to remember a speech. Don't just read it and try to remember it. Write it down. It's just like it just goes into your head better. Please believe me on that. So what I'll do briefly, I'm going to deal a few hands, and we'll go over some rules as they apply. Okay, here we go. Remember, you've made your bet. An 8 or a 9 on the first two cards, it's over. And only two cards per is going out in the beginning. And then we have to see what's going to happen. So, player gets one, banker gets one, player gets one, banker gets one. Let's flip them over. Just like that. Remember, I told you that's a 0, doesn't matter. Player has a 1. What is that? 7 and 4 is 11 in blackjack. What did I say? Drop the 10. That's a 1. So at this moment, it's 1 versus 1. Okay. What's the rule for player? If his first two cards are 0 total through 5, he has to take a third card. Well, his is 0 through 5, so he has to take a third card. So we're going to give him one. What's his total? Remember, he can't get any more than 3. That's it for him. What did I tell you to do? That's his total. He has a 1. What did I tell you over here? If he has a 0 through a 2, he's going to draw no matter what. Well, he only has a 1, so he's got to draw. What does he get? He still has a 1. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Drop the 10s. He's got a 1. He has a 1. It is a tie. Okay. Let's do another one. Player gets 1, banker gets 1. Player gets 1, banker gets 1. Uh-oh, he has a 6. That's over a 0 through 5, isn't it? That means he will not draw a third card. So now it's all depending on what he has over here, what he's going to do. Because he can't base it on a third card because he ain't drawing one. Now, when this happens, he's going to draw on a 0 through 5 as well. Okay, so he has a 3. Remember, this would be a 38 special if he had a 5 or less, but he doesn't. He has a 6. He's not drawing a third card, but since he's under 5 and he didn't draw one, he's going to hit. He automatically knows he's a loser by rule. Boom. 4 and 3 is 7. Drop the 10. Banker would win 7 over 6. And he didn't have to take a card. The rules are set up this way where the banker has a slight advantage over the player because of the rules set on the banker. Player don't have rules. 0 through 5, you hit. Everything else, he stops. But all the rules are over here on the banker to give the banker a slight advantage. Okay. Now, be warned. Be warned, if you bet on the banker and you win, you have to pay a 5% commission to the house. That is the only advantage that the house has. They have to charge that, or it would be absolutely 50-50. And they can't have a 50-50, can they? They got to have some little stupid edge to make some money. So just remember that. Player is free. You can win on player all day long, no commission there. Let's deal a couple more. I'm not meaning to make it go longer, but I just want to put the rules into action a little bit. Player gets one, banker gets one. Player gets one, banker gets the last one. Uh-oh, 3 and 2 is 5. We already know he has to draw. What's the banker have? Uh-oh, he has a 9 natural. What does that mean? It's over. Closest to 9, except he got an 8 or a 9, in this case a 9. Nobody's drawing shit. Hand is over. Banker will win. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, 6 and 1 is 7. We know he will not draw nothing. The banker has a 2. We already know that he is going to draw basically just like the other guy. You know, if he ain't drawing it like 0 through 5, he's going to draw something, right? So he's got a 2 versus a 7. But it doesn't matter about these two. He only has 0, 1, 2. He's got to draw. Now he has a 3. Remember, we forget that one. He's got a 3. So now it's 3 over 7. That's the best he can do. Player would win 7 over 3. There's a 6. He's not going to draw again. He has an 8. Natural. Over. Banker wins. The end. What is that? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What did I say? Drop the 10. He has a 2. So we know he's going to take a third card. He has a 9. It's a natural. Doesn't matter. He's not even going to get to draw, even though if he didn't have that, he would get to draw. But since the banker has a 9, it's a natural. It's over. He ain't getting to draw squat. But let's just, for fun, do this. Let's give him a 5. Okay, he's got a 2. He has to draw. 8. What's the rule? When he has a 5 and the player's third card, it has to be a 4, 5, 6, or 7 for him to draw. It's not. It's an 8. So when he has a 5 and his third card is anything but a 4, 5, 6, or 7, he won't draw. So in this case, 8 and 7 is 15 and 5 is 20. Drop the zeros. 0. He has 0. He has 5. He wins. Okay, let's put it in the same scenario again, and then I'm going to end this thing. What if it looked like that? Okay, what if it looked like that? On a 4, he draws a third card because it's 0 through 5. He draws a third card. On a 4, what does this have to be before the banker draws his third card? It's got to be a 2 through 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Right? That's what it's got to be. That's the rule. You wrote it down. It's a 5. Well, that is, in fact, a 2 through 7, which means he now must take a hit. Well, what does he end up with? 4. What does he end up with? 5 and 5 is 10. Drop it. 7. 7 over 4. It's over. Player will win. All right, let's do it one last time. Uh-oh. What happens if it's like this? He has to draw, right? Uh-oh. What's the rule? Banker will draw if this third card that the player is going to take is anything but an 8. Anything but an 8, he'll draw. And that's anything. He's going to take a hit. If it's an 8, he can't. Anything but an 8 when he has a 3. Okay? Anything else? Rainbow this damn thing. Anything else up there, he's going to hit. Okay? So let's go ahead and just give him one. Like so. Well, what does he end up with? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. He ends up with a 2. You drop the 10s. 2. Now, you would think, well, 3 has him beat already. Why does he have to take one? Because it's the rule. That's why. Okay. He draws on anything but an 8 if he has a 3 and the player does a third card. Anything. Well, that's anything. He would have to take one. And in this case, he'd win with the 8. That is Baccarat, ladies and gentlemen. That's about as easy as I can make it. Hopefully, hopefully you wrote some good notes. Let me come back to here. There we go. Oh, it's hot. Me and Barney go, we don't know anything else. We don't know how to make it easier. That's the easiest way we can do it. Now, those banker rules they're wicked. They just are. And there's a bunch of them. Okay. The player was the easy guy. 0 through 5, he's going to hit a third card. Anything else he won't. Player's easy. Banker, you got to watch that third card. Third card of the player. That's where the rules come from. So if you got any questions for me, go ahead and email me, kidknowsgambling@gmail.com. But before you start emailing me rule questions, watch this video. Watch it 2 or 3 times. Write your notes. But if you do need clarification, either ask the question on a comment or email me, and I'll try to do my best. But I personally, without doing the chart, because I think that would really blow your head, I think that's the best explanation, the easiest that can be done, in my opinion. All right. So thank you guys for watching. Me and Barney says until the next time. I need to point right at you. How do I do that? Right there. Be great. See y'all.